What's going on, guys? Glad you could tune into the station tonight. We're going to cover the Origin Story episode 2 again, and I'm going to go over the Robinhood app for those of you guys that are invested or interested in sharing Bitcoin or buying and selling Bitcoin and, stocks and whatnot. I'm coming to you guys live from Nebraska City, Nebraska. As you can see behind me here, we have a semi truck. In front of me, we have another semi truck. We're just out here living that nomad lifestyle, roaming from place to place, trying to make that money. But I didn't realize that I was having problems with the internet connection when I streamed episode 2 until later on. I figured out that it only recorded the first 2 minutes of the episode. So I got to redo it. So basically what I got to last time was I got back from basic training and went back to work at the police department. And, I'd went to night shift because I was on day shift before I went to basic training and came back and went straight to night shift, which wasn't terrible. It happens. It's just kind of what, happens when you're the low man on the totem pole. But, and I stayed on night shift for like 3 years until I went to, selection, airborne school, and the Q course. But, and I learned a lot of stuff when I was in basic training. And, it wasn't that I went to basic training because I wanted to say, fuck the police department, watch this shit. It was because the police academy I didn't feel challenged enough. Like I felt like I could do more, like that. I had more in me. And then I went to basic training and I still felt the same way. Like I was like, it was challenging, but I feel like I could do more, What else is there? What's the hardest thing you got? Bring it on. And that's what I did. And during the 3 years that I was there, between basic and, selection, it was a pretty much an uphill battle every day. Because, the old saying goes, they hate me because they ain't me. Well, nobody wants to see you bettering yourself for whatever reason. They just get super fucking jealous or intimidated or whatever the fuck it is that, that causes them to hate on you. And there were very few people that I worked with at the police department that were actually supportive of me going that route. And coincidentally, around the same time, the show The Unit came out, and a lot of the guys that I worked with, they were super big into that shit because the PD had started a attack team that, an SRT team, and it was still relatively young. Everybody was getting their feet wet, and they turned out to be pretty good in the long run. I think they were on like the DEA task force or some bullshit. But they didn't really like people that were obviously better than them. And I know that sounds conceited as fuck, but it is what it is. There was a show, what was it? Come on, National Geographic, where they had the Navy SEAL. They dunked him in the ice, and then they had him run an obstacle course before and after, and then they had one of the dudes from the Israeli special ops team run a course and then sit in a sauna for 8 hours or some crazy bullshit. And at the end of the night, they were like, yeah, based on the scientific studies, we've determined that these guys are better than normal people. They just are. And that was kind of the mindset that I took was, I'm better than you guys because I've got this selection paperwork. It proves that I can do shit that less than 1% of the population can do. And none of y'all motherfuckers even have the fucking balls to give it a try. I didn't blatantly say that to them, though. Try to stay humble, guys. Nobody likes a, you know, arrogant fuck. But when you work with a bunch of arrogant fucks and they know that, because what they went on and on and on about, they're like, nobody, these people aren't normal. These Navy SEALs and SF guys, they're not normal. They can't, not just anybody can go to that selection course and pass it. And, that was my goal at this time. And as far as the PD was concerned, like, I was below them. And this was my goal, was in their eyes to be above them. And then when I came back and showed them that I got picked up to be a Green Beret, it fucking pissed them off. It brings, it's a hard reality check. But anyway, so, 3 years later, I went to selection. Of course, nobody was really supportive of that. There was I had like one buddy and one supervisor that was kind of supportive of it. Nobody else was. So after I'd done that, and I'm not gonna like Gen 2, you guys. If you want to know something, you can click the link in the description and get a consultation. I'll give you my opinion. I'll give you some info. But the course is one of those courses where, people ask me, why don't you go back? No, I will never go back to that shit again. It's a one and done thing. Now, I'm going to tell you, it was hard. It's not something you can just show up to and pass. It takes preparation and effort. You have to train for that shit. But like, just the quality of people that you meet there is just unreal. Like, you will meet the best NCOs and the best officers army wide. And like, we even had a dude that was from the Navy. So whatever their lieutenant is, what, a fucking ensign or some bullshit. So we met an ensign there. That was pretty cool. He could swim really well. That's about it. And I did learn a lot from the guys being there. So after I came back, and it wasn't long after that I went to airborne school, which my run times improved at airborne school because that's all we did was fucking run. And it's not like, and the airborne shuffle is not a very fast run, but you're doing it in your, your uniform and your boots. And I had, at the time I had, the Rocky S2Vs, which are like massively heavy boots. So when I changed and put my tennis shoes on, like, it was ridiculous. Like, I went out one weekend and I was looking at the Nike boots, and it was like Saturday. I had the Nike boots on, and we went down to the. They had a 1 mile track down there, and I ran around the track with my rucksack on in like 9 minutes with the Nike boots. And I was like, all right, that's pretty good time. So it might have been 8.5 minutes. It was like 8-9 minutes, something like that. And I ran the entire mile with the rucksack on. That's 45 pounds dry, 4 quarts of water. And the next day, I was like, I'm going to see how I do with my Rockies. I was able to run 3/4 of a mile before my lungs nearly exploded. And then I picked up and finished it out. I think it was like right around 10 minutes, 10 or 11 minutes. Still, it's a pretty good time to fucking ruck a mile. But you get the point. Because the Nike boots were so much lighter than the Rockies. And I ended up wearing the Nikes for about a 2 or 3 days. I mean, they just ate my Achilles tendons up. I couldn't deal with them. But, we graduated airborne school. I had 4 weeks of airborne school. Do the math, because it rained so much that third week. And after that, I think I went back to the PD for a little while. It wasn't long before I was, uh, had orders cut for Fort Bragg for selection, or not the Q course. And I ended up spending 9.5 months there. And the first part, of course, it changes all the time. The first part was combat or common leader training, or common leader training, and that's like their version of WLC or whatever it is. What is it? BLC now, basic leader course, some bullshit like that. Honestly, can't say I learned much about being an NCO, but I did learn if you put enough dudes under it, you can move telephone poles, and that they do the stuff to you at CLT that they can't do to you at selection. Leave the rest of that for the imagination. It was fun though. That's where we got to teach classes, and you're really able to absorb a lot of the experience and knowledge from the other NCOs and officers. No, there's no officers there. It's NCO, man's course only. That's right. I said it. But you gain a lot of experience from those guys, because there's a lot of dudes that have combat experience, mostly except for the young guys in the 18 X-rays. So after that, we went back to, Fort Bragg, because you're on lockdown. And then we went to introduction or orientation, which wasn't long. It was like 2 weeks. And then we started language school, which was pretty good. It was 3 months, 12 weeks. We all got OPI rated. You had to demonstrate that you were somewhat proficient in your fucking language. Yo fui escuela para español. I can speak a little bit of Spanish. I retained a little bit of it. But the teacher did tell me one time that she could fall asleep listening to me talk because I talk so fucking slow. You know what I got to say to that? Yo soy hombre de ser. So there you go. Lo siento, señora. Hombre del ser. And at the same time, and this is probably the major point in my life where I didn't know what it was at the time. Later on, I found out, I guess you realize women aren't everything, because I was dating this girl at the time, and I was just all over this girl. And she ended up leaving me while I was up there for another dude, like fucking yeah. Yeah, I don't think she moved up in the world, if you know what I'm saying. But that, and that just completely fucked me up. Between that and my grandma wanting to call and tell me every fucking bad thing in the world that ever happens to everybody. When you're trying to when you're trying to do something like that, you don't need to hear that shit all the time. It weighs on you. But I ended up withdrawing from the course, and it took me a long time to a really long time to get over that, because up until for the last 3 years of my Army career, like, I had basically brainwashed myself to believe that it's tab or nothing, and now I'm nothing. So it took me a little while to recover from that, and it also helped me realize that women aren't everything. They're actually counterproductive for men and our goals. And that's to achieve. I'm not going to say all women are like that, but there are a lot of them that don't really support you and your goals, and they want to hold you back. Like, for example, how many dudes do you hear, "Oh, I would have went to basic training. But this girl I was dating at the time, she didn't want me to, so I didn't go. I'm like, okay, so let me break this down. You gave up a potentially rewarding, self-developing career with probably some of the best benefits that you can get, hands down, over a girl that you've probably been dating for like a month. I mean, come on, guys. What world does that sound like anywhere near a good idea? And so, yeah, chase excellence, not ass. Ass will never get you excellence, but excellence can get you ass. So I ended up coming home, and luckily, the unit that I was in, they were getting ready for deployment. They were starting to mob up. Like rumors were starting to come down when I went to selection in the Q course, and like the whole time I was at the Q course and all that, they were doing their training. What is it? I can't think of it. It's where they go out to California, stay in the desert for like a month and run simulated combat operations and shit. But I came back, got with them right before their validation mob AT, which I don't think they do that stuff anymore. It was fucking miserable, to say the least. So then we left there. We had about a month or so before we came back together and deployed. We went to a MOB site, which was Camp Shelby. And any of you guys have ever been to Hattiesburg, there's two things about Hattiesburg that you can bank on. One, it's going to be humid, and two, it's going to be hot every day, and it rains every fucking day. Once something gets wet, it doesn't get dry again, and it sucks a lot. I'm not sure what. There's not much out there that's worse than that place. Jesus Christ, I get chills thinking about that place. But anyway, so that was like 12 weeks, and it was pretty demanding. Also, keep in mind, guys, I'm going to college while I'm at MOB site. I am doing college classes online at night. So shit's fucking hard. Oh, I started going to college too while I was at during the 3 years between basic training and the Q course. It was like some crazy ass college representative from Allied American University showed up, and he was like, "Go to college at your own pace." I was like, fuck it, why not? The Army pays for it. I might as well give it a try. So that's what I did. And they wasn't bullshitting. The first class I did 8 weeks worth of material in 9 days. Yeah, that's right. A semester's worth of college in 9 days. The second class I did it in like 10 days. So I did 2 full classes in 19 days. They later swapped it to where you couldn't do that anymore. You had to you could only do week 1 during week 1 and week 2 during week 2. Made them more credible, I guess. Whatever. It's for those lazy students. But so yeah, so I went to MOB site. That was something else. We ended up, there was a lot of us that got promoted to corporals for that, and my God, the corporals were some salty ass motherfuckers. We were ruthless. Probably because we were doing a sergeant's job for specialist pay, and you get a little disgruntled. Anyway, we made it work. And let's see. Oh, as far as my leadership abilities, being around all those guys I met at the Q course and selection just really helped my leadership abilities. Like, no doubt, anything I did was awesome. So, after that, we deployed. We went to Afghanistan. The deployment was, it was pretty fun. And I started between right after I got back from the Q course. I was dating somehow I started dating this girl. She was from South Africa. She was over here on a worker's visa, That's right. I was dating a girl straight from the motherland, and I loved it. She had a British accent, blonde hair, and blue eyes. Holy shit. She was awesome. That's right. And she just couldn't keep herself out of the bars. That was the only bad thing. Other than that, she was pretty fucking awesome. Probably to this day, I've never dated a girl that was so widely accepted by my family as this girl from South Africa. I should have kept her around. Anyway, so I started dating another girl around the house, and she was pretty well accepted by the family as well. She was a volunteer firefighter. She killed more deer than I have, but she wasn't trained to hunt people, so fuck her and her fucking killing animals and shit. You hunt the most dangerous game, you don't go back. And yeah, she was pretty awesome. I really liked her a lot. Kind of fucked me up too when she went back to her ex-boyfriend, which was her fucking high school sweetheart. So I was pretty angry for most of the deployment. My privates would have never guessed. But so I ended up, trying to rediscover myself and redevelop, redevote myself to what I want to do and what I want to get out of life. And I got pretty jacked over there. All the food, free food you could eat, and got a lot of gym time. And really, the only thing you had to spend your money on were fucking supplements and monsters. So, yeah, worked out pretty well. But and I'd planned on trying to go back to the Q course because like the two options you had were either go to like Ranger School or deploy. Being in the National Guard, going to Ranger School it's not really an option. Maybe an opportunity, but not like a I have to do this option. The deployment happened to be there, and I was going to go. I was really going to go back, and then, well, hold on, let's go back. I ended up. I wouldn't really say dating this girl, messing around with this girl a little bit. She was from Pennsylvania. She was pretty cool. But then, like when we came back, I talked to her a little bit, but yeah, it just never seemed like I could get up there to go, see her or anything because it was shit. It's like fucking 10 hours, 10-hour drive up there. And I met this girl from Oregon too. She was pretty cool. One of my privates made fun of me after that because he said she fucking dipped more than he did, and I was like, whatever. Nobody cares. These standards over there go way the fuck down. But anyway, so when I got back and I was getting my training program squared away, got an apartment. So I finally paid my truck off. And you know how us police are, we're fucking rich. I couldn't afford a house and my truck. So I finally paid my truck off with my deployment money. So got me an apartment. And I don't know how she found me, but my ex-wife sent me a friend request on Facebook and started talking to her. That was a mess, guys. But I don't know if it was her situation that got her attracted to me, or if it was that she could sense excellence. I mean, her ex-husband was fat as shit too, so that probably didn't help none. And I'm not saying he was a bitch, but he was kind of a bitch. And guys, let me tell you, women don't like bitches. That's just how it is. They want a man, a fucking man. If you don't know exactly what I'm talking about, go to MLD, Modern Life Dating Channel. Entrepreneurs in Cars, Red Man Group, The Sharp Reality. Those guys will give you a pretty damn good idea what a fucking man is. All right, so I'm going to leave the origin story right there. The next origin story will pick up when I started dating my ex-wife and what that entailed. What I'll go over the what cryptocurrency is. Basically, if you want to call it imaginary internet money, you can call it that, but it's not really imaginary. It's it's real, guys. I swear to God, it's fucking real. I just can't I just can't hold it in my hand like I can hold a bunch of coins, but I can put it in my phone and hold my phone like a wallet. Like I put my money in a billfold and I can hold the billfold in my hand. I can put the cryptocurrency in my phone like a wallet and I can hold the phone in my hand. So it's pretty close. But I know, like I got in a discussion with a guy yesterday at the truck stop. Imagine that, right? And he didn't really understand the concept of how it's created because he said anything digital can be copied. And I told him, I was like, I don't think you can do that with Bitcoin because this is how it's made. Because it's basically they call it a blockchain, like a blockchain algorithm. And each one of these blocks is formed through computers solving a mathematical algorithm. And every time one of these blocks is created, like it drops Bitcoin. Like imagine, all right, let me back up a little bit. All right, so to solve these algorithms, you have to have a computer that's set up certain software called mining software, and that allows your computer to work to solve this algorithm. And what that does is it allows for the creation of more Bitcoin, and two, it it helps you verify transactions. So like whenever, like say I took one Bitcoin and transferred it to somebody else, it would bounce off all of these computers and all these blocks to register the transaction for accuracy to make sure you're not fucking cheating the system, motherfuckers. So you got these computers that mine the Bitcoin by solving these mathematical algorithms. And whenever time one of these algorithms is solved, it creates a block and it drops Bitcoin. It's like your computer is Mario, and you fucking jump up a bunch of times and hit the blocks, and pennies pop out. You just didn't know that the pennies were really Bitcoins. And it's not like you can continue to mine the same production forever because it don't work that way. Imagine the Bitcoin blockchain like the rivers and mountains of California during the gold rush. At first shit was laying on top of the ground. And the more people that got into it, and you're like, well, they've mined a lot of it. I guess I'm gonna have to set up a big operation now and start panning for gold and put some work into this shit. Well, more people get into that. It becomes harder. Same way with mining Bitcoin. The more hash rates, which is how the computers are, it's speeds measured to solve the algorithm. The more computers that get into the mining, it basically scales the difficulty up. Like my little laptop back in when it first happens, it would have been a decent. You wouldn't have became rich, but you could have made some money doing it. Now you have special. They're called ASICs miners, and it's like that's all that thing can do is mine cryptocurrency. It doesn't do anything else. It's useless for anything else. But when those things dropped on board, like the difficulty became extremely hard to mine cryptocurrency to the point like I got the mining software set up on my laptop here, and crap, I closed it out. Anyway, like I would mine 5 cents worth of Bitcoin daily. That's not a lot of Bitcoin, guys. Zero. That's almost nothing. But so that's how it's created. To be honest, and every 4 years, Bitcoin has something called the halvening, where the drop rate, like right now, it's like 12 coins for every block that's solved. It drops 12 coins. Well, in like May of next year, it'll drop, like that'll be cut in half to like 6.25 or 6.5 or some bullshit like that. And then 4 years from that, that cuts in half. And it's going to do this every 4 years until like 2140. And at that point, there will be no more Bitcoins to be mined. All the Bitcoins will be in circulation, all 21 million of them. So, and that's really, in my opinion, when the price will probably stabilize. You won't have these massive spikes up and down. But, until then, let's trade them motherfuckers and make some money. All right, so the Robinhood app. Let me pull up my email. As I gave Charlie from Cultivate Crypto a decent review on, my opinion of Robinhood. And there's a lot of other exchanges out there that you can use, like Binance, I think is a good an exchange that they push, and then like Coinbase and Coinbase Pro. Those are some exchanges. Let me just pull it up on my phone, and I'll just read it off. Yeah, I didn't know what Robinhood was until I actually seen it, or I didn't see it. I was listening to the Ben Shapiro show, and it was a sponsor of theirs, so I had it on my phone for a long time, like the app, but I never actually finished installing. Well, I never finished registering it, so it just like sit on my phone useless for months and months. And MLD and fucking Charlie got me in. I was like, you know what? I'll give this a try. Fuck it. So, and I wasn't even trying to get into cryptocurrency as much as I was just going to exchange some stocks, because I had an idea what stocks were. And Robinhood actually had an option where you could trade and buy cryptocurrency. So I was like, fuck it. Why not? Let's give it a try. Oh, the registration was pretty easy, guys. You just make your username and password with your email. And like I got Bread Wallet. I haven't finished registering and setting it up yet. Well, I got it set up. I just haven't like bought any cryptocurrency with it, like with my credit card or anything. But Robinhood, like I got Wells Fargo. So basically all I did was just logged in with my Wells Fargo online banking information, and it just fucking linked everything up and set it up by itself. It was pretty smooth and carefree. The commission fees, like they don't really charge a whole lot of like straight up fees. Like it says the FINRAR trading activity fee, the TAF is like 0.000119 per share. And so like I know I bought $100 worth of Bitcoin, and I got I think they deducted like 30 cents. I got $99.7 worth of Bitcoin. And I know me and one of my friends, we were looking at it, and I noticed that pretty consistently, whenever you buy a Bitcoin, it's about $10 more than whatever the ticker says. And when you sell a Bitcoin, you're selling it for $10 less than whatever the ticker says. So there's a $10 difference there with Bitcoin. And with Ethereum, it was like $1. So maybe Robinhood makes some money off that. Other than that, they got a Robinhood Gold. It's like $5 a month. They make money on that, and then they allow you to do marginal trading if you got an account balance of $2,000 more. And basically, what a margin trade is where the exchange loans you money to buy shit like stocks or cryptocurrencies. So, take that for what it's worth. The in the in like the help section, it says you're allowed 3 day trades for every 5 day, trading days. But I don't know, guys, if that's attached to cryptocurrencies because like when it was going crazy, when was it, like Friday or Saturday? Friday, I think I made like, I know it's like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I probably made like 15 fucking trades, and it didn't like ban me from trading or anything. I know if there's a lot of, it seemed like if there's a lot of volume going through, uh, it won't do like an immediate purchase. It'll go pending for a little while, and then it'll show your trade a little while later. Uh, yeah, they'll do an instant deposit of like $1,000 per day. I've never put that much into it, and if you want to get your money out, according to the Robinhood help desk, there's no fee for withdrawing your money. It just has to be like uninvested money for like 6 days. So like if I sold all my Bitcoin, I'd have to leave that money on the app for 6 days, and then I could transfer it back to my bank account. Uh, the Yeah, and like it's basically just swiping. But they have an online. Uh, you can go to their website and actually log in and check your prices there, and it'll let you, you can buy and sell. Like right now, the ticker says 79.76 on Bitcoin, and if I bought it, it would be 79.87. And if I sold my Bitcoin, it would be 90 or 79.57. So to buy it, it's 79.85. To sell it, it's 79.61. It's changing that fast. Bitcoin has went fucking crazy. Like, to give you an idea, hypothetically, if 1 week ago you bought an entire Bitcoin on May the 10th or May the 6th, all the way up till today, and that's not counting if you sold out like during these highs and lows and corrections. But if you'd be up like $2,000 just this last week. You can't. It's hard to find a job that's going to pay you $2,000 a week. Just saying, guys. Let's see what else. Oh, the uh, the marginal trading rate, like say, it's 5% flat rate. It's what they say. You take 5%. You divide the 5% of the balance divided by 360, and that's the daily payment. You know, That's in there also in their help desk. Oh yeah, like a lot of those offshore exchanges, you can kind of get around, taxes and stuff because they don't make you like you can remain anonymous. Uh, Robinhood, you kind of have to. It's an American company, so you can't be anonymous trading on it. So for low fees, ease of use, and I'll show you what the app looks like on my phone. So when you pull it up, it basically pulls the screen up that you can't fucking see. Huh. It looks like I had to reset my password, so now I got to log back in. Anyway, once you log in, I don't know if you can see that. Oh yeah, you can see that. That's basically your entire investment, which, as you can see, I'm not exactly fucking rolling in the dough. So like when you go down to Bitcoin, it's going to show, something like that. And then you can the two buttons at the bottom is your buy and sell, and that's pretty much it as far as using that app. It's super easy, and I put a link in the description below. If any of you guys are going to want to try Robinhood, you can click on that link, and it'll give us both a free stock. That's pretty cool, right? It's like when you open your free stock, it looks like a fucking lottery ticket that you scratch off, and they're giving away, I think, Berkshire B, Apple, and there's a couple of good ones. I got some kind of garbage fucking Chesapeake Energy. It's worth like $2.50 and goes down every day. Anyway, guys, that's it for tonight. Just leave me a comment, questions below. Subscribe, tell all your friends. I'll see you guys next time.